Okay, welcome. So I have been in and around the publishing business for quite some time. I had my first little publishing company in the early 90s in Santa Rosa, California. And it was a small press, only put a few titles out. But since then, I have actually been in the publishing business doing software publishing as well as my own independent publishing. So I know a thing or two about the publishing process, and I know what it takes to go from ideation on out to publication. And then you have to do your marketing and your promotion because traditional publishers don't typically do a lot for your marketing and promotion for you. So you have to take matters into your own hands. Also, on down the line, there's more and more talk about getting into a position of thought leadership. So going from idea to thought leadership is a journey. And now with everybody doing content for so many different types of things and so many different channels, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have your blogs, you have Substack, you have Patreon, you have podcasts that you produce yourself or that you go to, you have talking points, you have speaking engagements, all of these things, all the things, not to mention blog posts and Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and all of that. Each of those channels needs a slightly different approach. And things are just very different than they were 30 years ago, obviously. And now with print on demand and so many people doing their own publishing and their own writing and all of that, taking matters into their own hands, there's all kinds of stuff. The other thing that we have now that's on the scene is AI. And there are a lot of applications out there that say, hey, use AI to write. And it actually will write for you in some cases, or it will help you write with prompts and things like that. But that's only part of it. And the thing too is that that model of having AI do it for you is problematic because will it turn out the way you want it or not? AI really works best if you ride herd on it and you keep track of what's going on. You have very interactive, iterative style with it. So all of that being said, and also knowing what I know about generative AI, particularly ChatGPT and custom GPTs, I decided to build myself a custom GPT that will walk me through the process of writing books from idea to eventually getting out there, getting into a position of thought leadership and having more of a presence out there, not just a book. There can be ebooks, there can be audiobooks, there can be podcasts, there can be all sorts of things, videos, YouTube channels, all these things. So AI makes it easier than ever to convert your content from one format to another. So that's my plan. I have a bunch of manuscripts that I have been working on over the years, and I couldn't really make any headway with it substantially because I was working full time in many cases, and it was an outside activity. And then also, how do you, split your time between working full time and then trying to build up a position as a thought leader? The other thing too is that if I'm writing about stuff that my employer does, well, do they own the work product? Yeah. So I don't have that problem anymore. So I've got all these manuscripts. What am I going to do? I need some help. I can't do this alone. So what I've done is I have created a custom GPT, and it's actually a GP team. It is a collection of personas who have, I say who, which have human-like attributes. There are a lot of human-like attributes that are available for us to leverage. My count is over 1,000 at this point. And I've gone through the list, and each and every one of them is something that I want and need to use. It's a lot. So I've created these personas, a team of personas that will guide me through the entire process from ideation on to getting out there multi-channels and getting into a position of thought leadership and just getting my ideas out there. So let me show you the team. This is my AuthorFlow application, and our team, who do we have? Who can work with me on the end-to-end process of going from idea to thought leadership presence in the areas where I wish to be known. So let's find out. I'm going to introduce you to my team. So I've got a project manager persona. I've got a visionary. I've got an architect, a wordsmith, an audience advocate. Very, very important. Just Jordan Brooks can help me understand who my audience is and how to develop content that will resonate with them. I've got a researcher, I've got a promotion strategist, and I've got a PR specialist and a media specialist. So of all of this, okay, great. Who will help me at each stage of the way? And all of these personas are really based on my understanding of what it takes to execute in these different roles at these different stages of the publishing process. It's not just about publishing, it's about brainstorming, coming up with good ideas. It's about being able to organize those ideas and put them into a structured format, whether it's a book or an ebook, or even maybe a series of podcasts or a series of blog posts to generate interest. It could be any number of things. And because I've been a project manager for 25 years, and I have been on many, many teams that had a number of people on it who were either unwilling or unable to do their jobs, no judgment, but that's where it was. I have gotten a very keen sense of what it takes to actually do certain things. And because I've been in and around the publishing scene for, let's go back. Actually, I did my first publishing in the late 80s, so a while. Because I've been around it, and because I've been following it, because it's been a passion of mine, I know pretty well what I would like these personas to do. So I've got content creation, I've got publishing and productization, and so this name is TBD. And a lot of these have been given names by the system when I created the personas, but they're all going to help me. So yes, I want to start with ideation and brainstorm. I have an idea for a book that I started a while back, and I'm stuck. Can you help me? The issue with this book, the issue is that it's about AI, and the space keeps changing, and my understanding of it, the subject, keeps changing too. So I need to get a better handle on my thought process, as well as what would be useful to my audience. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I want to create a practical, useful guide for people who are confused about AI. And this project is near and dear to my heart. I have started on it and revised it, and started on it and revised it many, many times over the past months, because it's something that really, really is uppermost in my mind. And it speaks to our understanding of AI and our lack of understanding of AI. What is AI? What good is AI? Why should we care? Why should we use this? What difference does it make? These are all questions that a lot of us grapple with on a daily basis. And AI is so much a part of our lives already. It's here. If you watch Netflix, it's here. If you use Google, it's here. It's been in our lives for a while. And now we're getting to a point where we can use generative AI to do things. But how? Why? I mean, what? There's so much. There's so much. How can you even get your head around it? I have actually come up with a way that I can conceptualize it that makes it very accessible. And then it gives you a different way to think about it, so you can actually find uses for it, whether it's small uses or big uses, whether it's for your personal needs or professional needs, or in the enterprise. These three things, these three questions that you ask can tell you where you can leverage AI very effectively. And I've been doing this for some time now, ever since I figured this out. It's like, oh, just use AI for that. And it works. I've used it personally. So anyway, so let's take a fresh look at this evolving space. Thank you, Alex. So AI is a rocket ship. It could be a manual. I don't like the rocket ship thing. AI is a moving target, a flexible framework. Divide the book into stable, timeless principles. Oh no, no, no. Okay. The audience is key here. Yeah, let's figure out who they are and what they really need. Am I targeting beginners overwhelmed by the jargon? I like everybody. We're pretty much like, there are not a lot of people who understand exactly what this stuff is and what it's good for. So whether you're just a newbie who's like, oh, AI, why would I trust that? Or somebody who's like, I know I'm supposed to use this stuff, but I have no idea how. Nobody's telling me anything. They just give me these lists of 1,000 prompts. List of 1,000 prompts, and that's supposed to help me. How? What? We're all like, it's a very level playing field because we're all walking around like five blind men and the elephant. Like, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. And if you don't know about the five blind men and the elephant, you should Google it because it's a very apt analogy to where we are right now. So the audience is key. Yes, it absolutely is. And I want to make it practical. What's the scope? Are you aiming to simplify AI concepts? Oh, okay. So I have some pretty fixed ideas about how I want to approach this. I want to reach a broad audience of people who are uncomfortable or unfamiliar with AI and overwhelmed by the hype. I have a framework I use to think about AI that I feel would be helpful for others. I want to center the book around three main considerations we should all look at when thinking about how to use AI. And then want the second half of the book to be practical exercises people can think and practice themselves. All right. And let's see what the team says. And I love my teams and I build a lot of them. In fact, I probably build more than I should, but I love it and it's wonderful. And they're really nice people, I have to say, because I designed them that way. And some of the things that they come up with, it's just pretty amazing, especially when they talk to each other, because my personas can actually interact with each other. And I'll show you that in a moment. So the visionary, your three considerations are the pillars. We're going to name them. Okay, divided into two parts. Yes, I've said that. Practical exercises. And the thing too is that I have to sometimes make sure that these personas are not too congratulatory of me. They're like, hooray, you've won. Like, no, I just started. So it's interesting. I mean, it's nice. It's nice to be affirmed, but it doesn't have to happen all the time. Sometimes I need a little, honest kick in the pants. And I would tell them that. And then they'll be like, oh, okay. And then they do that for me. So here's a push. Are the exercises addressing emotional barriers like fear of AI or purely practical? Well, I mean, personally, I feel like fear of AI comes from a lack of familiarity with it and people not really getting hands-on experience. At least that's part of it. And then Maya, the wordsmith, will ensure the language I use. Okay, what are the create, draft, and exercise stretcher? Okay. Let's just do our if there is a lot, maybe too much data or information that someone needs to wade through to if they have specific needs about what kind of info they need to access. 3, if they need to communicate with other people or machines, computers, AI systems, etc., and they need help writing their ideas into actionable info. Let's see what these people have to say. And I say people because they're like people. In fact, they're every bit as people-y as a lot of people I know. So let's see. Okay, the fog of data, information overload, zeroing in on what matters, I don't know. Filtering the noise, finding your focus, bridging the gap. Actually, that's not bad. Okay. Kind of like those titles for the sections. Can you all please discuss amongst yourselves the relative merits and drawbacks of this approach? There is no right or wrong answer, and please be critical of each other's perspectives, but eventually, after a lot of back and forth, come to some agreement and consensus about the approach. Okay? This is one of my favorite things to do. I get them to talk and argue amongst each other. So, okay. Okay, and Jordan thinks Alex is being a little too abstract. Jordan likes simplicity. He's the audience advocate. I think Jordan is a he. I don't know. Sometimes it gives them these kind of gender neutral names. So I don't know. Sometimes it's a he, sometimes it's a she. Samuel is definitely a he. Could be. The structure is solid. And then sometimes they have non-binary. There's that too. It's really interesting what it comes up with. And I can set them any way I want. If I'm like, I just want you all to have like catchy little nicknames instead of like full names, please do that. It'll do it. I just have to tell it. So Elaine is weighing in, and she's a challenger / coach. And the distinct sections make it easier. So Samuel thinks that it should be interwoven throughout the book. He wants to integrate it more. Elena is like, yeah, no, I think communicating for connection and clarity, oh, that's too much. I think I like bridging the gap better. Okay. And then Sarah is the facilitator, and she's going to synthesize everything. Stick with straightforward stuff. Okay, so consensus, they want to keep the proposed titles, they highlight the connections, and they engage through content. Okay, good. I really like this. And you know, it's funny because for all the back and forth and everything and all the thought process that takes place, like 8 times out of 10, I would reach the same conclusion myself if I had the time to noodle through it all. I do not have the time to noodle through everything. So this really speeds things up, and it's really interesting to see the thought process behind it, and also, you know, see where it's going. And I can jump in at any time and I can say, wait, no, this doesn't make any sense. Um, that's great. Thank you. We can talk about transitions later. Okay, so I'm gonna hold up for now because I don't want this video to be too long, but I do want to demonstrate what's possible with this. And with the personas that I've created and with this team that I've created, I have this really dynamic workspace. And unlike other AI applications where it does it for you, it has some prompts and everything. It's interesting, and it can be helpful. And sometimes you get good results, and you can always train it with train it, but you can orient it and give it the style that you have in your own writing. There's a different feel to this. In some cases, when I'm working with this, it's a real collaboration. And it's amazing because I'm not just collaborating with these artificial intelligences, I am collaborating with the patterns of humanity. Well, a slice of humanity anyway, all the stuff that's been in the internet that's been ingested. And I like to use OpenAI because it's really good for thought process. And okay, so a lot of it is like rich, white, entitled people process, but process nonetheless. And it can also be guided and it can be changed and it can be shifted. So that's why I really like the OpenAI model versus Claude or Gemini or Copilot or even Mistral or Perplexity. I like this because it's a good thinking process for me and it really works for me. So I just wanted to give that demo. I'm going to continue to show you how I'm using AuthorFlow to write my book. I have been very happy with drafts before, and then I came back a week or two later. I'm like, no, I don't like this. I need to improve it. So this will give me a chance to work with a team of supporting characters and to not have to do it alone, because before I was doing it by myself. This is a very different feel. And nobody is making this stuff up for me. It's stuff that I'm bringing to it. So next time we're going to show how I can upload additional information and feed it and get these personas to really parse through it and synthesize the information and then take that and do something else with it. So until next time, thanks for watching.